Hello and welcome to another 642 Tiny Things to Draw update. Our first doodle is a spoonful of alphabet soup with a really stupid pun. I cannot take credit for that, I got that off of Google. I am coloring this in using watercolor by the brand Artecho, using a bunch of yellows and orange and a little bit of brown to get that tomato soup kind of color, because that's typically the color of alphabet soup. And of course, the letter noodles are a bit more yellowy. I used a couple shades of shiny silver for the spoon, which I think made it pop out from the orange soup colored background. The rest of this is adding some shading and then outlining in Micron, because this definitely needed an outline. It looks far too flat right now. There it is finished. This one came out. Okay, moving on. We have a sorbet spoon, and I decided to experiment with this one. Let me start out by saying I was not excited in the slightest to draw this one, so to have a little fun with it and to attempt at getting that ice cream texture, I am taking an acrylic paint marker, smearing that onto my finger, and then blotching that onto the paper to get that, well, blotchy texture. I filled in and shaded the spoon with graphite and then added a little bit of highlight and shine with a Grabie acrylic paint marker in the color silver because, you know, spoons are metal and therefore shiny. I added some more texture lines with Micron and then added a little bit more shading in the ice cream itself with more graphite. Here it is finished. It's not my best work, but it's not terrible either. So moving on, we have a caterpillar. I have my reference in the top right corner so you can see what I'm drawing. This caterpillar is called a Saturniidae. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but as you can see, this thing looks like fucking coral. It is an alien. And then it grows into a really pretty moth, and I chose to do this caterpillar because, I mean, look at it. It looks fucking awesome, and I thought it would be fun to draw. This entire thing is done in Grabie acrylic paint markers for really no reason other than they are highly saturated colors. There's not a lot to say about this doodle because it's pretty much just color blocking. I did smear a little bit of white and a little bit of orange onto its head and back to get that color fade. And from there, it was adding the coral and the speckled details with more acrylic paint marker. This doodle is not super realistic or super accurate, but I still think it came out cute, so I'm not mad at it. Here it is finished, and next up we have a brooch! And I was thinking about doing a specific brooch, but then I was like, you know what? A lot of these are just random shapes anyway, so let me do this, like, wing whoosh shape that I had the urge to draw for some reason. Brooches are shiny, so I am using these glitter gel pens by the brand Grabie because they are gorgeous and I don't use them enough, and I don't know, I felt like being extra today. My thought for this brooch was a wing with colored rhinestones going down in rainbow order. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to talk about filling in all of those colors, so moving on to the background. I scribbled some ballpoint pen down, and then added some lines in Micron to hint at fabric texture. Yeah. Next up, we have a blood vessel, and this one got really messy, but I had fun doing it. I am blotting down red, yellow, and brown acrylic paint to get a blood color. I used Grabie acrylic paint markers for this entire doodle, and I used that bloody blotty texture to fill in the whole background. When I was done with the background, I took a red paint pen and drew wavy, branching off lines all over the whole section. So it's more like a network of veins instead of a singular blood vessel, and I don't know if that reads, but it does look cool, so whatever. And here we have dominoes. I can't draw straight lines for my life, and this is far too many tiny lines to bring out a ruler, so I already knew right from the bat that this was gonna turn out really wonky, because again, can't draw straight lines. So I figured, fuck it, let's just lean into the wonkiness and do really scribbly, sketchy style. So here I am, scribbling over all the lines with a random black pen that I had lying around, and then I added a little bit of scribble shading with same black pen, and now I'm filling in everything with graphite. This was mainly to separate the dominoes from the background, and I couldn't fill it in with black because I already used black to outline it. So anyway, here it is done. It's not good, but moving on, we have a petite four, which is essentially a bite-sized pastry. I did not plan out this sketch at all. I went right in with the watercolor and hoped for the best, and yeah, it came out pretty good. So this pink one here, I'm thinking is strawberry flavored, and I took a bite out of that one, and then in the back, I'm painting a brown one, and I'm thinking that could be chocolate flavored. And here I am half-assing a plate with sparkly silver watercolor. After the paint dried, I outlined and shaded everything with graphite, and then for a little extra detail, I added some drizzle and some garnishes on top with glittery gel pens by the brand Grabie, because, again, glitter is pretty. And that is all for this doodle. It's not very realistic, but it's cute, and next up, we have nuts and bolts. This was another doodle I was not excited to draw because more geometric shapes that I can't do. So to make it fun, I blotched down 2 shades of silver and a little bit of brown and a little bit of red to get like a rusty color, and that's gonna be my background. rusty metal color and texture in watercolor, yeah. And then when that dried, I took a random black pen and haphazardly sketched out some nuts and bolts and then scribbled in the shadows. And then I sketched out another nut and bolt, and this one came out really, really bad. That is. And then there was a lot of blank space, so to fill that, I added some dots and some twinkles, because why not, I guess? Metal is shiny, right? So there's that. It's not good, but it looks cool, and then now we have a guitar pick. I colored this in with colored pencils, but not just any colored pencils. These are mechanical colored pencils by the brand 4Candies. I added a little bit of acrylic paint marker for outlining, and then I smeared it for a little bit of shading, and I also used the metallic silver paint pen for the guitar strings because those are, metallic. And then for more outline and more shading, I used Micron, and I scribbled because scribbling is fun. There it is all done, and now we have wooden beads, and I did sketch this out with graphite, and I did not erase my sketch lines because, I don't know, layers, and now I am filling this in with watercolor. I used a couple different shades of brown and yellowy to get, different wood types, and I'm imagining that these wooden beads are on a strand. Maybe it's a necklace, maybe it's decorative, who knows. When the paint dried, I added some texture lines with Grabie acrylic paint marker, and that is all for this update. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more of me, click the link in the description box, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!